Headline news most affecting Chilliwack this week. A positive update on the Hope toddler who almost drowned in Cultus Lake. Hate crime against Hope Pride. Mediator has been appointed in the BC transit strike. And our guest this week from Chill Sounds 2023, presented by Canex Building Supplies, one of the artists performing at this Friday's singer-songwriter night, Dion Weisbrod, of the band The Unbranded. All right, Chilliwack, let's get started. An update on the little boy from Hope who almost drowned in Cultus Lake on June 1st. Social media report says that Raya is alert and responsive, although it's still not known if there will be any permanent damage. A GoFundMe page has been set up to cover expenses as the parents are with the 3-year-old at BC Children's Hospital. Early last Thursday, Hope RCMP and Hope Fire Department were dispatched to report of a structure fire at the building in the 400 block of Wallace Avenue in Hope, where the Pride office is based. Hope Fire were able to quickly extinguish the small fire, which prevented further damage to the building. Investigators were able to determine that the front window of the building was smashed out and the suspects attempted to light a pride flag hanging inside on fire. In addition to this, the recently painted pride crosswalk in front of the building was defaced with homophobic slurs. RCMP are treating this as a hate crime and are asking for information and tips. Last week, we told you about Uber finally getting the green light to service Chilliwack. Uber is already in Abbotsford. This comes as the BC transit strike by the drivers with Q561 approached 90 days. Harry Baines, Minister of Labour, has obviously had enough and appointed legendary mediator Vince Reddy to step in and try to bring both sides to an agreement. His track record is impressive. There has been media silence as this process continues. Chilliwack area Indigenous peoples will have access to better legal supports and healing opportunities with the opening of a new Indigenous Justice Center in Chilliwack and $10 million in funding to support First Nations community-based justice programs. The BC First Nations Justice Council is developing an application process for First Nations to apply for new funding to support community justice programs. The funding can also be used by First Nations to establish justice worker teams that will help community members navigate the justice system. Summer road construction is always a pain. No pain, no gain. This week, construction started to widen the intersection of the Vetter and South Sumas. Either use Chilliwack River Road or Evans Road. Those traveling northbound get a left turn arrow to turn westbound onto South Sumas Road. This will take the entire summer to complete. BC Wildfire Service updated the Chehalis wildfire as it has now burnt through 800 hectares and is listed as a wildfire of note, downgraded from out of control. The fire was human-caused and started June 1st. The campfire ban is now in effect and will roll through to Halloween. BC Wildfire Service is very concerned that this year has the potential to be one of the worst wildfire seasons on record. Dunk tanks are now a thing of the past with some school districts. Chilliwack School District has banned them as they actually have a racist history dating back to 1915 and the San Francisco Fair. Dunk tanks were used to humiliate African Americans. We reached out to the Abbotsford School District to find out what their policy is, and we, as of airtime, have not heard back. Dunk tanks have been used as fundraisers for schools for many years. Chill Sounds Music Festival 2023, presented by Canex Building Supplies, is pleased to bring you Singer-Songwriter Night, sponsored by All Things Being Eco on Friday to the Vineyard Community Center and hosted by the fabulous Chilliwack comedian Helena Paul. Your $10 ticket all goes to the artist, and you even get a beer courtesy of our wonderful beverage sponsor, Flashback Brewing Company. After the break, our Chill Sounds 2023 interview, followed by sports and weather. Okay, we are here with Dion Weisbrod from the Unbranded band. Welcome.
Hey, thank you very much for having me.
We are looking forward to hearing your music. Actually, I've cheated a little bit, Dion. I went on to the Apple Store and I went on to Apple Music and I listened to some of your music and I was like, oh wow. And then you mentioned you were on Spotify, yep. YouTube as well.
Yeah, YouTube as well. Yeah.
So when I listened to it, it was country, but there was some soul, there was some funk to it. Actually, I was saying to Dion earlier, we were chatting, and I said it made my head bob. And I was like, so maybe you could explain a little bit of your style and where it came from.
Well, I played traditional country music, but I originally played in metal bands and punk bands growing up. And then I kind of jumped to country, singer-songwriter, and started writing songs about what I was doing, which is working on farms and living on the reserve and whatnot here in Chilliwack, and just kind of living my life and writing songs about that. Found out I could sing, so
Oh yeah, that
started
was
singing.
was it that someone told you? When did you actually realize then, like that moment, I was like, yeah, I can do this?
It was probably like 14, 15. I was doing like Neil Young covers, and the principal came up to me and he's like, "Oh, those are great songs. Like your voice sounds great." And I just kept doing it. So here I am.
And then you mentioned earlier you were influenced, like sort of a metal side. Where did that come from, the influence of the metal?
My dad actually, was a big metalhead when I was a kid. So I like listened to a lot of aggressive music, a lot of metal music. And
Well, and I
played drums, bass, and all that stuff in the band. So.
Oh, I can. That's incredible. Maybe does that shape some of your music? You think a little bit with some of the stuff that you do?
Yeah, I'd say so. I definitely there's some attitude that's in there, and every now and then every other song, right? Like it depends what I'm writing about, you know.
Got it. Now, Dion, the name I mentioned to you earlier that I was like, hey, I remember a Dion Sanders.
Yeah.
And you had said,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
who you're named after.
I'm now named after Dion Sanders. Yeah, they won in '96.
So the football guy, I watch that guy growing up all the time, and I love that name. So,
Oh, yeah.
okay, I guess you're in your local community, right? So how much
Yeah.
has that really influenced your style and your way of writing and singing?
It's influenced me by just by what happens in the community, the grief my community's been through, the happy times, the sad times. Just that's how it influenced me. It kind of I just take aware of what's going on.
And that's at Chiacton First Nations.
Yeah, I'm from
Right.
originally from
yeah.
Chiacton First Nation, born and raised. So.
And so I guess the stories are coming from there. The stories are coming from also from your childhood and the stories from your grandparents, as you mentioned earlier as well. Yeah.
Yeah, from my grandparents, from people I've known my whole life, and
So one specific song that I had checked out was "The Trail." It's a little bit of a slower song, but you had mentioned what was the reason you wrote that song?
Yeah, the trail is about my great grandfather. He used to ride up from Alberta back and forth, and he used to ride horses. They were what do you call that?
What, when they're transporting?
Transporting in the chuck wagons. And
that's where these stories came from,
Yeah.
originated from.
Yeah,
And then you also had, I listened to The Rancher. Now that had some good beat to it. What sparked that one?
Well, I was taking care of horses at the time, so
Yeah.
I was doing a lot of stuff with horses and whatnot, and then just kind of dreaming about the prairie. So
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
So you worked on horses.
yeah, I've worked with horses and cattle, so
And
I've
cattle?
done both. Yeah.
It's incredible. I guess a question a lot of people might not know, and maybe you could sort of share with us, what has been a big challenge that has happened to you recently or something going on in your life?
I had in January I went in for brain surgery, and they took out a cyst and a benign tumor in the back of my cerebellum.
Oh, wow.
So I had that going on there.
How did you know that was there? Did something come up? Were you not feeling good? Or
No, actually, I had no symptoms at the time. I was doing follow-up MRIs for a seizure that I had, but it turns out I'd never had a seizure at that point. So,
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I'm all clear from everything. So.
And so now after the surgery, everything's good?
Yeah, I'm all healthy. Yeah.
We are good. We are glad, because I know that there might be some new releases that are coming up, new projects that you're working on. Maybe you could share that with us?
Yeah, we released 3 new singles before our Western Canada tour there 3 weeks back, and they're on Spotify under the Unbranded. And then we got a whole album we're working on for the fall under the Unbranded as well. So.
Oh, that's incredible. So we're looking forward to hearing some more, top hits from you and anything and everything. And this Friday, Chill Sounds 2023, presented by Canex Building Supplies. We have singer-songwriter night, and Dion will be there. Also, Blake Pinder is also the other performer who will be performing at 7:30, and I believe you'll be performing at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, 9 o'clock.
Oh, I can't wait. Tickets are on sale. They're only $10. They are on Facebook. If you want to go to Chill Sounds on our Facebook page, you will find them there. We truly appreciate you coming on the show, and we look forward to hearing you on Friday night.
Yeah, I look forward to doing it. So.
I know.
Yeah, thank you.
Fraser Valley Golf fans, and even if you're not a fan, held their collective breath as Abbotsford and Ledgeview Golf Club's Nick Taylor became the first Canadian to win the RBC Canadian Open since 1954. It took a 72-foot putt and 4 playoff rounds to make it happen. En route, set a course record on the Saturday round. While the BCHL moves away from Hockey Canada to become an independent, a change on ownership for the Langley Rivermen has been approved. The BC Hockey League Board of Governors has unanimously approved the sale of the Langley Rivermen to local businessmen Dana Matheson and Jamie Schroeder. Matheson and Schroeder will take over operations of the team immediately after purchasing the franchise from outgoing owner John Henderson. Ironically, the Rivermen used to be the original Chilliwack Chiefs. The Chilliwack Giants 2023 scholarship winners were announced. Andrew Fawcett won the Wayne Bjorgi Academic Excellence Award, Kyra Gansky, the Chilliwack Giants Minor Football Service Excellence Award, Chloe Dades, the Chilliwack Giants Minor Football Bursary Award, Tyson Oregard, the Chilliwack Giants Minor Football Bursary Award, and Kenyon Reed, the Chilliwack Giants Minor Football Bursary Award. The Northwest Mud Racing Association held their races last year behind the barns at Heritage Park. They are coming back August 19th and 20th. They have a Facebook page up for information. And let's throw it to the weather and to the break. After the break to Carrie. Nope, it's actually me. I'm doing the weather. Okay, let's do the 7-day forecast. So you might not be happy, but we know BC Wildfire, they are happy because they are going to be getting the rain, as you can see here, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And even if we get into the Monday here, the Tuesday, the Wednesday, Thursday, it is starting to rain, which we need. We're getting down to some of the single digits here at nighttime, but don't worry, it does raise up a little bit. We finally do get to Thursday, and Thursday will bring us that sunshine. Thanks, Carrie. Oh, wait, I mean thanks, Steve. And thanks for watching. And if you have a local news story you'd like us to report on, send us a note to news@chilltv.ca. Thanks, and have a great weekend.